Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live programs. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jennifer Savage, and I will be your host for today's show. Today, we will be exploring Have Something to Say, as this topic relates to our lives and experiences anywhere from the lens of musician, artist, manager, performer, and all the way down to eye level of the crude and unfiltered human being. What does it mean to have something to say? And how should you say it? There is no one-size-fits-all answer, and this could leave you with more questions than simple answers, but it's more real that way, and that's what we're here for. And here is a little preview to recap our last installment. Check it out. We are all capable of anything.
It's a loaded thing. This whole topic is, I'm really referring to things that are very ominous and dangerous, and people say, oh, I could never do that. I love that phrase. All of them, every single instant or whatever you're talking about can be executed very well by you and me and anybody given the right circumstances.
We're all capable, even though everyone's going, I could never do that, or I could never imagine doing that myself.
Take murder.
Yeah.
You would do that. I would do that. We're all capable, absolutely capable. If push comes to shove, we're capable of anything. Almost every priest has sermonized about the next topic. They go, oh, I can't believe they said that. I mean, that's Jesus they're talking about. I mean, I would have never done that. And I go, really? All capable of anything, and we should not judge. Otherwise, we will be judged. The only way to fight an idea is with another idea. You can't shoot it. You can't kill it. You can't stomp on it. You can only fight back with another idea. Don't put yourself in a situation where you know you're going to get into trouble. I believe the best result is from being impromptu and in the moment and taking chances. I think that's when the best music is played. There's so many facets of preparation. You don't work out your problems at the instrument, for example. You work them out in your mind and then go to the instrument and work.
What are we capable of in a positive situation?
Okay, how about, are you prepared for success? You could have great success and really handle it well, and you could have great success and not handle it well. I recently donated my music to somebody. It's one thing to have your recordings and the result of the work, but it's another thing to have the work itself. Meaning
in your hand.
In your hand. So they were honored to have it, this particular institution or whatever, because they were getting my markings on this particular passage or my ideas. I put down some breakthroughs. I didn't mark up all my music. As a matter of fact, most of my music is blank. What is success in terms of real estate? Well, I've talked to a number of them, oddly enough, and their answer is this. Don't be in a hurry. It's a methodical thing. You got to start with going door to door, building up your clientele, building up your leads, saying, hey, are you interested in selling your house? If you are, here's my card. Go like that and try to build up a group of people or a following. That is a fait accompli. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. And that was our last recap episode. And today, I'm excited to be joined live with co-host and celebrated partner in crime, Dikron, otherwise known as Jack Price. And just to give a little introduction, formerly known as Dikron and now known as Jack Price, he began his career in artist management in response to his own career as an RCA recording artist after winning first prize in the 50th anniversary Naumburg competitions, as well as being known as the crazy pianist who premiered The Right for solo piano. Welcome to the show, Jack Price.
Oh, thank you so much. I think
the crowd.
I think we should. Yes, we should start out with a real pronunciation of my name. I think.
Yeah.
I like your pronunciation, but it's Dikran Atamian. Okay.
Tigran Atamian.
No, you added the Tigran. Actually, that's the real name. I was saying Dikran Atamian, but it's an Americanization of the Tigran Adamian with like a D. Okay, so anyway.
Right. Also,
I had another interesting thing happen this week. We should start out. Some crazy artist who will remain nameless writes on their wall or something. Finally, Jack Price, the fraud, took me down off his website. I don't understand. I didn't even know what this person is talking about. They wanted to be on the site. You know what I mean?
Sounds like
all of a sudden, after five,
they
got. That's why I'm saying it. If you have something to say, and by the way, the name of the show is "Do You Have Something to Say?" In other words, it says "Have something to say?" ? My question is, does anyone have anything to say? And I mean, it's a legitimate question in this day and age with all the superfluous garbage that's going on. Everybody's preoccupied with anything but substantive material,
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, that's my opinion. But anyway, so I thought I'd start off with that.
We can get right into it, but I also noticed some.
Oh, you like my sculptures
in the background, and they're gleaming gold. Yes.
We have over here. We have. I can't tell what side I'm on. This is Outer People. This one is. Let's see, right there. That one is Connection, the gold one. That's 24 karat gold, by the way, plated. And then the little piano below is by Michael McLeaf, and it's called Piano Trio. If you do a close-up, you'll see three people climbing all over the piano.
Yeah, okay.
Made out of like wire or something, but it's very thick. It's not flimsy, just so.
Yeah, I believe Talik Winner is one of our is on the roster for Price Attractions. So if you would like to check out his work, here's a little preview. But let's dive right into our topic for today, which is have something to say and see what is behind door number 1. So what does it mean to have something to say? I know you got a little bit into this, Richie, earlier, but
yeah. Well, I mean, it's a very difficult topic because it's like a piano recital or a violin recital. Two people go into the recital and they come out with two different opinions. Oh, that was fantastic. Yeah. And then the other person says that was trash. And you wonder if you went to the same recital. That's the whole idea. So that's not necessarily having something to say. I mean, Einstein said it, I believe. Great minds talk about ideas and theories and things. Mediocre minds talk about other people. So, you know what I mean? It's like you walk out of the concert and the first thing that comes out of your mouth is, boy, that was awful, or that was phenomenal. I'm not really sure that's what should be said. I think, how about starting out with the music? Like, what a great piece, or what a really badly written piece, or what was that composer trying to say? The first thing we think of when we have something to say is, oh, they're really crappy.
Right.
It's like the actor who says, I really could get my teeth into that part. And then the interviewer says, how come? He says, oh, because the part is so evil. And so the interviewer says, you mean you'd rather do bad men or bad people, bad women than, and they go, yeah, it's much more interesting to play a villain than it is to play a good guy.
Oh, so you're saying they're blaming the part and their tool instead of, analyzing it more, or what are you?
No, I'm saying the person coming out of the concert is so preoccupied with maybe jealousy of the person that's on stage playing so well that they come out and project a totally different impression. Oh, that was awful, when in fact it was phenomenal. It's complicated, okay, like most relationships, right? Okay, but the thing is, most people don't say what they're even thinking. As Hopkins used to say, people don't tell you what they're thinking, they just see that you don't succeed. You see what I mean? They're not going to say, hey, Jennifer, I'm going to really screw you over in the next 5 minutes. No, they just screw you over. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, you know what I'm saying. I mean, if it's called telegraphing, like a boxer. If the boxer telegraphs a left hook and he's saying, hey, I'm going to give you a left hook, the left hook is no longer effective. But if it's a surprise left hook, then it's very effective, you see?
And you're saying this is when people have like ulterior motives and when they're trying to, you know, game you or screw someone over, right?
I'm saying
out of jealousy.
No, it's a question. Have something to say? It's a joke. Like I'm trying to say, I rarely hear anyone say anything worth listening to. Okay? That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm saying I'm repeating the non-substantive material right now. I'm saying, do you have something to say? No, you don't have something to say. So now I'm repeating, oh, they don't have anything to say. So I'm criticizing the critique. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I know it's getting a little it's getting a little involved. I'll make it very simple. Mm-hmm. A person who talks about ideas and hypotheses and concepts, breakthroughs. We've talked about this, like at the piano, at the violin, whatever. This is a real thinker. You know, this is a person like our next topic, existentialism. You know, I mean, it's a heavy topic. You know, if you talk about Kierkegaard and people and Paolo Soleri and all these different people who contemplated why they even exist. Okay, this is something to say, something substantive. Like if you say in the opening of the Mozart double concerto, let's say there's a trill, both pianists play, then they go, okay. The person that has something to say is very clear in that opening. The person who doesn't have something to say is just going to play a bunch of notes, just like what's his name, Salieri said, or the king and, you know, the prince in the Amadeus movie said, oh, it's all arpeggios and thirds and cascading. You know, there's nothing to Mozart. It's just a bunch of scales and arpeggios and broken sixths. But no, it's not. Mozart is saying something very substantive with the arsenal he had, which was broken octaves, unisons, thirds, broken thirds. I mean, come on. All music is the same, except if you're talking about the Boulez Second Sonata, then you can just throw all that out, you know.
Okay, yeah.
And by the way, it's a terribly boring piece, and I even heard Pollini play it from memory, and it was still boring. Anyway, so
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. You're saying there's substance still, though. And you could play the exact same opening, but one could play it with substance and one could just sound like a trill or an arpeggio.
Yeah.
Like
for example, I'll just outline it for you. That opening trill, both pianists are on E flat to F, you know, trilling, and they trill for a full measure and then they end it. Now, to me, you say, well, you can't say anything in a trill. Not true.
No,
it's not true. A trill can be extremely expressive, or it can be phenomenally boring, or it can be uneven, which is definitely not desirable. And it can have very few notes in it, whereas the really great trill can have a million notes and sound like a flutter, sound like a bird, you know, floating away. You know, I mean, trills there's so many ways to do them. So when I say have something to say, that means say something all the time. Don't just say something and then go off in trivia land. You know, oh, I already said my piece. Now I can just, you know, goof off, you know. Just if you have anything to say, make it substantive. That's my question. Have something to say? Do you have something to say? The answer to that question is usually not. I fall into that category. We all do. I mean, I'm not walking around all the time.
You're in your music, but also this expands to just, you know.
No, just talking. Like if you're at a cocktail party, I was watching an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm the other day for the 80th time. And, you know, Larry does not like small talk. Like, oh yeah, how's it going, man? You know, I haven't seen you in a long time. And what are you doing lately? I mean, he goes, come on, you know, I can't sing the happy birthday song. Happy birthday to you. You know, he's bored with these non-substantive interactions with people. You know, like you see someone on the street, he calls it a stop and chat. Okay. In other words, he doesn't like to stop and chat with somebody about just gibberish. If he has something to say, maybe, but usually he rarely has something to say to someone he barely knows from a hotel concierge or something walking down the street. Oh, hi, Mr. David. You know, he's not going to stop. Right. Although he's a nice enough guy, he stops and he goes, yeah, how are you doing? You know, oh, you know, same old thing, you know.
Yes.
If you're going to say something, if something's going to come out of your mouth, I believe it should have something to say. You know, in other words, say it.
Well, how do you oh, I guess this might be door number 2, but okay, let's
well, no, let me just clarify. Yeah. It should be substantive. Say something with substance.
Okay,
you
then
know, don't just utter words and
right.
I mean, this small talk is just
substantive. How do people determine what's substantive?
They determine it for themselves. Everybody doesn't agree on what is substantive. It's all a matter of opinion. But in my opinion, you should say something that's, well, that's really door number 2, what I'm getting at. And I'll save it for door number 2 when we get to it in a minute, which we will. Yeah. But when you say, do you have something to say? And what is it that you should say that has something to say? It can get very complicated. I mean, in other words, don't just go up to a person and say, hey, how's it going? Same old, you know, different day, same old stuff, different day. I mean, everybody's going to say the same, say something provocative like, I smell steak, you know. You know, say something different, you know, instead of like the same old garbage, you know what I mean? Small talk is out. Say something substantive.
Out of the box.
That's all I'm saying.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's pivot here with a little clip that we can show to switch things up a little bit. And yeah, stay tuned right here on Jack Price is Right. All right. And that was a clip of the Mozart Sonata with violinist Hamao Fujiwara, recorded in Arcosanti, Arizona. And moving on, let's dive right into what is behind door number 2.
Yeah, that excerpt.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I'm talking about. That excerpt solves this thing. How should you say it? With urgency.
Urgency.
If you have something to say, it should be urgent. It should be substantive and urgent. You in a way, you can't wait to get it out. And that excerpt is a perfect example of Mozart just cannot help himself but emote. this very intimate thing that's inside of him, and he expresses it in that way with this opening piano solo that sets the scene, and then challenges the violinist to do it just as beautifully and say even more, perhaps. That's what he's doing. He's pitting the two instruments against each other and say, oh, I just said something. Now let's see what you have to say. I mean, it's a perfect example. Don't say anything unless it's important, unless it's urgent, unless it's substantive. Urgent, there's another word for when you have something to say. It should be like you can't get it out fast enough, something like that. I don't know the word. I used to use it a lot. Urgency is the most important thing. In other words, if it's not emergent or urgent, then don't say it. You can just say it 5 minutes later. In other words, you've got to say what you're going to say right now if it absolutely has to be said. I know that sounds confusing, but I've thought about this a lot, as you probably have figured out. This is one of my favorite subjects because when a pianist used to come into me at Michigan, I was artist in residence there for a very short time, 5 years. That was my whole experience with academia, and no thank you. But anyway, and it's not the students or anything. It's just the bureaucracy. I don't like schools. I never did. I never even liked going to school.
Higher academia is it?
Yeah, that doesn't mean I didn't attain, a good grade average or anything. I was a very good student. I didn't rebel against school, but I did not like it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I liked the subject.
Yeah,
I liked the subjects. I also liked excelling in them and getting an A+ when everybody got a B-. I like that. I like being superior. Yes, you like
being superior.
Yeah, I do. I do like being superior.
We've got it on tape now.
You've got it on tape. Yeah. Yes, I do. Yeah. I revel in my superiority. Yes. Anyway, so no, I know this is tongue in cheek a little bit here. Not so much, but it's a little bit.
Right. But you're saying the thing is, your stint at Michigan. Yeah.
Yeah. So a student would come in, or let's say a colleague. We won't refer to them as students. I consider all my people that I've ever worked with as colleagues. I don't look down at them. Okay, so I would say they would play, let's say, the fourth partita, which is a great piece, the D major. And that opening overture is quite difficult to pull off, in my opinion, with the dotted rhythms and how long do you hold the dotted note, and then, how fast do you make the fast notes. We've already been through this a million times here and in the contest. Play the fast notes faster, play the slow notes slower. But it's not that simple. It's much more profound than that. That's the basic axiom. So therein lies, is that the word? There is the answer. I have an axiom of playing, but it's deeper than that. That's having something to say in a way. In other words, the statement belies the real meaning. In other words, play the fast notes faster, meaning the shorter notes faster and the long notes longer. But what I'm really
will lead you to a deeper, what you're actually trying to get to.
It's actually
that urgency and that meaning. Or what,
listen, I've proven this recipe. Everybody is marveling all the time, and when I say that to them and they do it, they go, man, Richie, you're right. Just play the fast notes faster. But what they're missing is the harmony. The harmony beneath the fast notes and the note values is really the directive. The harmony directs, as I call it, harmony directs policy. What do you call it?
Harmony directs policy?
No, harmony dictates policy. Yes. Yeah, harmony dictates policy. In other words, without the harmony, those note values are meaningless. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How long do you hold the opening of the Pathetique Sonata? Oh. I mean, you can really hold it forever. As Fleischer said, never play a note or chord until you have to. And I think he's absolutely right. That's another way of saying play the fast notes faster, the slow notes, or the longer notes slower, and the shorter notes faster. But it's the harmony that really dictates that motion. So it's harmony, it's
the changes
time.
In harmony. The harmony
No, it's sound through time. That's what I've always called music. It's sound through time. Without the note values, you cannot decide anything, but without the harmonies, you can't play. Period. You've got to have note values. That's why Bach didn't write directives in his music. He was smart. He left it to the composer. In the B minor overture, you don't see anything. He doesn't tell you how to play that.
Right.
The other partita, it's like the 7th partita. It's a great piece. Nobody ever plays it. The B minor overture, it's like 7 movements. Anyway, and there's an overture in the beginning, and it's very complex. It's sort of like the E minor partita, actually. Like, what do you do with that? It's very urgent.
It is.
Bach has something really internalized there to get out. He's got to get it out.
Yes.
And he's probably thinking about it while he's tuning his organs, that's how he made his living, was tuning organs.
Right.
He didn't make any money in composition. So anyway, the thing,
how should you say
something? You should say something with a clear understanding of what you're talking about, with depth and with integrity and with urgency. It has to be urgent. Like, I'll give you another musical example, the opening of the Schumann Concerto. I oftentimes hear that just ripped off. It's not even that hard. They go, bum, da-dun, 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 bum, bum. I'm exaggerating, of course, but I think the more effective way of playing that opening, it does say what? Affettuoso is the opening tempo or something. Well, I don't think Schumann should have written that. I find that to be a little affected. Of course you're going to play it with affection, but then again, I just sang it without any affection, which is the way I hear it most of the time. You should never play any of those da-dum, and then the next one, da-dum, ba-dum. You never should play one without really listening to it first and then going on. That's why when I sang it just now, it's played that way most of the time. They're not thinking about those harmonies progressing down.
You're saying you should internalize those harmonies and hear them in your head before you execute those dotted rhythms.
I am clearly saying that should be slower. That whole opening, there's no way you can think about each of those harmonies by just ripping them off. It's not even that big of a deal, technically. The only difficulty there is the memory.
Right. Yeah. If you do it too fast, it just goes by in a blur. Right.
Yeah, it's like not even an introduction. It's no longer the opening of the Schumann Concerto. It's just some ridiculous technical feat. It's not even a technical feat. What's so hard about it?
Right. Okay.
Boom, da-dum, 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 da-dum. It has to move. I would say an urgent way to play that would be to play the first dotted quickly and then progress through the next progression quite with intrepidness, like something terse, something really important, like the opening of the Prokofiev Sixth Sonata, something like that. Really intense, not fast, not loud necessarily, but intense. And this is another thing about, do you have anything to say? And do you say it in an urgent manner? Most people play and phrase in such a way that you have this feeling they're not even the neurons are
there's
not.
There's nothing going on.
Yeah, there's
not
nothing
firing.
up here. Yeah, there's nothing up here. It's like it's just some kind of exercise, and we're playing the typewriter, and we're we want to get it over with, or I'm playing the way the jury wants me to play, and I want to win the first prize, so I'm going to play it the way they really. I think they want to hear it, Right. There's no end to this. Say something like in the opening of 101, Beethoven, he writes in German for one of the rare times. Usually he writes in Italian, Allegro vivo or blah, 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 or andante non troppo or Allegro ma non troppo. But he writes in German, play this with the innermost feeling. Did you ever look at that German of Opus 101? Yeah, play with the innermost feeling. Play this movement with the innermost feeling. Now, that's not a bad directive, especially from Beethoven, who was pretty exacting in his directives. When he wanted a sforzando, it makes sense. Like, in the Patati. Okay. Or, something like that is very effectual, shall we say. Okay? It's a cause and effect type thing. It's not just a sforzando out of nowhere. Beethoven is usually purposeful in his sforzandi. Okay?
So that's a good directive, because that will kind of help you determine where to bring out the urgency and the importance and the meaning and the substance from what you're trying to say in the piece.
Yeah. But I mean, look, if you're looking at Opus 101, the first movement, this is one of the most tender statements of music ever written. It's very similar to the second movement of Opus 90, which is very Schubertian in its style. It's one of the most lovely melodies in all the repertoire, Opus 90. The second movement is just
the second
it's from heaven. I don't even know how he came up with it, because it's so Schubertian. It's like beyond. It's almost beyond Schubert,
But let's,
so that's an example of saying something really substantive.
Those are examples. Okay. All right. Hate to cut you off here, but we are running a bit out of time, and I know you've got a lot to say, and you've got a lot of urgency to go with it, as well as intensity. But thank you for delving a bit into, how do we determine what's important to us? How do we determine what is substantive and meaningful, whether it's in our music or
it's hard
in our lives, and how we communicate and with everyone. And there's many, it's art. It's difficult to find something to say with meaning sometimes, and
sometimes it is. Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it can be. But I want to thank you for your time, Jack Price.
No problem.
With that, the time.
Such an ovation.
Yes. Yeah. And I want to take a moment here to thank our partners and sponsors, with which we have them on the screen. We have many orchestras, many studios, schools, the Colburn, Cairo Opera House, so many organizations. You can see them all up on the screen here, Cicciaroni, that have been with us, supporting us, and without which this broadcast would not have been possible. And we also have we are also streaming on all of the major platforms, whether it's from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, Vimeo. Check us out on whatever platform you would like the best. And also big shout out, of course, to our broadcasting team. Today's broadcast was powered by Krisztian Palagyi, directing behind the scenes. Couldn't have done it without you, our partners, our sponsors, everybody who have been with us along our journey. We are sincerely grateful to have everybody on board. And with that, I think that's all we've got for you today. This has been Jack Price is Right. I'm your host, Jennifer Savage. And I hope you've gotten a little something out of today's topic of have something to say. I know I did. See you next week.